Please, somebody. I can't get up.
Sir! I'm coming! Give me your hand!
I can't, my chest, I can't breathe.
Look at me, look at me. I got you, hold on.
Owen Harris pulled the old man off the pavement with both arms, ripped his only jacket off and wrapped it around the stranger's body.
Son, you'll freeze without that.
Which way's home, sir?
21 years old, $4 in his pocket, a night shift starting in 11 minutes that he'd just thrown away. The old man looked at Owen, looked at his torn shirt, his cracked hands, stared like he was memorizing every detail of his face. Owen didn't think anything of it. He should have, because what showed up at his mother's front door the next morning changed the Harris family forever. But to understand what that morning meant, you need to understand what Owen Harris woke up to every other morning of his life. Shelby Avenue sat on the south side of Memphis, Tennessee, the kind of street where every house leaned a little, where porch lights flickered because the wiring was older than the people living inside, where the sidewalk cracked so deep that weeds grew through like they owned the place. Owen lived in a duplex at the end of the block. The roof leaked in 3 spots, one right above his bed. He'd put a bucket there. Some nights the dripping was so steady it sounded like a metronome. The kitchen floor groaned every time you stepped near the stove. The walls had water stains that Denise Owen's mother had tried to cover with dollar store picture frames. It didn't work, but she did it anyway. Owen was 21 years old, tall but thin, the kind of thin that didn't come from choice. His collarbones pressed against his skin like they were trying to break through. His hands were rough, cracked at the knuckles from years of lifting things heavier than he was. He wore the same faded jacket every day, olive green splitting at both shoulders, the zipper broken since last winter. His jeans had been patched so many times the thread didn't even match anymore, and his sneakers held together with dollar store glue made a soft peeling sound every time he took a step. He worked 2 jobs. Mornings he loaded crates at Mr. Grady's grocery store on Lamar Avenue. 40-pound boxes of canned goods, sacks of rice, pallets of bottled water. 6 hours, $8.25 an hour. His back ached by noon, his shoulders burned by 2, but he never clocked out early. Nights he washed dishes at Rosie's Diner on 3rd Street. Hot water up to his elbows for 5 hours straight. $7.75 an hour. No breaks longer than 10 minutes. The steam made his skin peel around his fingernails. He wrapped them in tape and kept scrubbing. Between the two, he pulled in just under $1,400 a month. Rent alone was $950. The math never worked. Owen knew that. He kept a small notebook in his back pocket, every page filled with numbers. What was owed, what was due, what was late. He'd sit at the kitchen table after midnight, pencil in hand, trying to make columns add up to something that looked like enough. They never did. But Owen didn't complain. Not once. Not to his mother, not to his co-workers, not to anyone. Denise Harris was 53. She worked 2 shifts at a laundromat on Poplar Avenue, folding, pressing, sorting, hauling bags that weighed almost as much as she did. She had chronic back pain, the kind that started sharp in the morning and settled into a deep, constant ache by noon. She never saw a doctor. No insurance, no savings. She just took ibuprofen and kept moving. Owen watched her every morning, watched her grip the edge of the counter as she straightened up. Watched her close her eyes for 2 seconds, breathe through it, and then smile like nothing was wrong. He never said anything, but he noticed everything. On the fridge door behind a magnet shaped like a sunflower was a folded notice. 3rd one this year. Final warning, pay the back rent or vacate by the 30th. Owen had hidden it there so his mother wouldn't see it. He'd already called the landlord twice, begged for an extension. Got 1 more week. 1 week. The electricity bill was 2 months behind. Owen had started unplugging everything before bed. The toaster, the microwave, the lamp in the hallway. Anything to keep the meter from ticking. He ate less so Denise could eat more. When she asked if he'd had dinner, he'd say, "Yeah, ate at the diner." He hadn't. Rosie's didn't feed the dishwashers. He just drank water from the tap and waited for the hunger to pass. Every morning before work, Owen walked past Mrs. Patterson's house 3 doors down. She was 70, lived alone, and her front steps were rotting so bad one of them had caved in. Nobody fixed it. The city didn't care. Her family didn't visit. So Owen fixed it himself. Found scrap wood behind the grocery store. Borrowed a hammer from a neighbor. Spent 40 minutes before his shift one Saturday morning nailing new planks into place. Mrs. Patterson came out with a plate of oatmeal cookies. Homemade. Still warm. "Owen Harris, you didn't have to do that." "Couldn't have you fallen, Mrs. Patterson." He took the cookies, thanked her, broke one in half, ate a piece, and slipped the rest into his jacket pocket. For his mama. That was Owen. He didn't talk about being good. He just was. Quietly, consistently, without anyone watching. That Tuesday evening, Owen left the duplex around 7:30. Sky was gray but calm. He zipped his jacket as far as the broken zipper would go and started walking toward Rosie's diner. It was a 25-minute walk. He knew every crack in the sidewalk by heart. He looked up once. Clouds were stacking thick, dark, moving fast from the west. He pulled the jacket tighter. He had no idea that in less than 2 hours, he'd give that jacket away to a complete stranger. The storm that hit Memphis that Tuesday night wasn't on the forecast. It came fast. 1 minute the sky was gray and heavy. The next, the wind shifted hard from the west and the clouds split open like something had torn them apart. Rain didn't fall, it attacked. Sheets of water slammed the pavement so hard the gutters overflowed in seconds. Hail pinged off car hoods, street signs rattled. The traffic lights on Shelby Avenue swung sideways and went dark one by one like someone was pulling plugs. Owen was 8 minutes into his walk to Rosie's diner when it hit. He didn't have an umbrella, didn't own one. He ducked under a bus stop awning and pressed himself against the glass. His jacket soaked through in under a minute. Water ran down his forehead into his eyes. His sneakers squelched. The glue on the left sole started giving. He checked the time on the cracked phone screen in his pocket. 8:41. Shift started at 9. 19 minutes. If he ran, he'd make it. Barely. He stepped back into the rain and started moving. 4 blocks north of Shelby Avenue in the opposite direction, Gerald Whitfield was already in trouble. He'd been at Elmwood Cemetery since 4 o'clock that afternoon. Same bench, same plot. Same white carnations, Eleanor's favorite. He sat there every Tuesday, rain or shine, and talked to his wife like she could still hear him. Today he'd stayed longer than usual. Told her about the house, how quiet it was. How the hallway still smelled like her perfume some mornings, even though he knew that was impossible. How he'd been eating dinner alone at the same table for 3 years and still set 2 places out of habit. He lost track of time. When the first crack of thunder hit, Gerald looked up and realized the sky had turned black. He reached for his phone and called Raymond, his driver. "Mr. Whitfield, I'm stuck on Union. Whole road's flooded. Fire department's blocking it off. I can't get through." "How long?" "Could be an hour, maybe more." Gerald hung up. He looked at the cemetery gate, looked at the road. It was about 1.5 miles to his house in Chickasaw Gardens. He'd walked it before, years ago, when his knees still worked and Eleanor walked beside him. He gripped his wooden cane, pushed himself up from the bench. "I walked this city before you were born, Raymond," he muttered to no one. "I'll manage." He didn't manage. The first quarter-mile was slow but steady. Gerald kept his head down, one hand on his cane, the other holding his vest collar closed against the wind. His cashmere was soaked. His Oxford shirt clung to his chest. The leather shoes that he'd polished that morning filled with water at every step. Then the sidewalk dipped where a storm drain had collapsed. Gerald didn't see it. His cane hit the edge, slipped. The wood cracked, snapped clean in half, and Gerald went down hard on both knees. His right hand caught the pavement. Skin tore across his palm. He tried to get up. His knees wouldn't lock. His chest tightened, not sharp but heavy. The kind of pressure his cardiologist had warned him about. "Don't overexert. Don't get cold. Don't let your heart rate spike." He was doing all 3. Gerald knelt there on Shelby Avenue in the pouring rain. Cars passed. 1, 2, 3. Headlights swept over him and kept moving. Nobody stopped. Nobody even slowed down. His breathing shortened. His fingers started to go numb. The rain was so loud he couldn't hear his own voice when he finally opened his mouth. "Help! Somebody! Please!" Nothing. He said it again, louder. His voice cracked on the last word. "Help!" 6 blocks south, Owen Harris was running, head down, arms pumping. 15 minutes to make his shift. Every second counted. Every dollar from tonight meant the lights stayed on one more day. Then he heard it. Faint, almost swallowed by the wind. A voice, thin, broken, coming from somewhere ahead. Owen slowed, wiped the rain from his eyes, squinted through the sheets of water. 30 feet ahead, a shape on the ground, white hair, dark vest, 2 halves of a broken cane scattered on the pavement. An old man, on his knees, in the middle of the road. Owen looked at his phone. 8:52. 8 minutes to clock in. If he stopped now, he wouldn't make it. If he didn't make it, Rosie would let him go. If Rosie let him go, he couldn't pay the electric bill. If he couldn't pay the electric bill, he stopped thinking. He ran toward the old man. "Sir! Sir, don't close your eyes. Stay with me." What happened over the next 45 minutes would stay with Gerald Whitfield for the rest of his life. Owen dropped to his knees beside the old man. The pavement was freezing. Water rushed past them like a shallow river. "Sir, can you hear me?" Gerald's eyes were half open. His breathing was shallow. His right hand was bleeding, palm scraped raw from the fall. His white hair was plastered flat against his skull. "My cane! It broke!" "Forget the cane. Can you stand?" I don't think so." Owen looked around. The street was empty. No cars, no pedestrians, just rain and wind and the distant flicker of a traffic light swinging on its wire. He slid his arm under Gerald's left shoulder, braced his legs, pulled.